Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of the Break Even Sports Show. It's just going to be two of us right now tonight. I know one of us will not be joining. I do not know about the other one. He may show up. We'll find out. But as of right now, it is me and Donnie. Donnie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. I'm on my way back from Charlotte. I'm supposed to have a job tonight. It got postponed. There were a lot of issues, let's say. So I'm on my way back home now.
Well, I said it is storming pretty bad here right now, so you have something to look forward to. Probably tomorrow, I would think. Maybe later
Oh,
tonight.
great. I hope it's not tomorrow. I'm supposed to go to see Clemson play in Augusta tomorrow, so I don't need any rain.
Oh well, I may have some bad news for you then. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
Yep.
yeah, for people who need a reminder, of course, this is our supplemental show to our main DHC show on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we'll be mostly talking about soccer, um, arena football, probably a little bit tonight, and some other stuff that we've come across, but mostly FCS too when we start that up, but it's not here yet. But we're going to talk about some soccer for a minute because, oh, and yes, Phil, first off, Phil, congratulations on your debut on Breakfast Eggs. I have found that really, really enjoyable. And because of you, I'm also tracking the Paladins East Tennessee State game right now. So here's hoping that Furman can pull it off. And right now, they're looking pretty good. 61-46, about 10 minutes left in the second half. But we're going to start with Premier League. We're going to start with Premier League. So we got Premier League, we got FA Cup, and we will talk about both of those. But we definitely need to start with Premier League first because I know we keep on joking about a certain thing happening. And I think after this week, it's so close to happening. It may happen. So we'll find out when we go through this. So for Tuesday's results, Bournemouth and Brentford tied 0-0. Nothing really to talk about there. Everton beat Burnley 2-0. Sunderland beats Leeds 1-0. One of the upset that people were talking about happened on Tuesday. Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Liverpool 2-1 in Molineux. And Wolverhampton, I'm going to bring this up, they're at 15 points. And they're at 16 points. There are 12 points, about 13 points away from safety. Great escapes have happened before. And then the question, so great escapes have happened before. And now I kind of wonder, does Wolves really have a shot to get out of the relegation zone? Because I looked at their games from their next ones. They're pretty much down at a lot of them are kind of in the bottom table for this game because they've got Brentford next, at West Ham, at Leeds, Tottenham at home, Sunderland at Brighton, Fulham at home, and Burnley. That's not a bad slate.
That's a better slate for them to move up than what Tottenham has to stay up.
Yeah, that is pretty much the case. Do I think they will do it? No. Do I think they'll make it interesting? Yes, I do. But that's definitely not to keep on. But after winning 2-1 against Liverpool, kind of have to keep our eyes on that. Uh, Wednesday matches. Chelsea beat Aston Villa 4-1 at Villa Park. So a nice win for Patrick there. Arsenal go into Brighton and Hove Albion and beat them 1-0. West Ham beats Fulham 1-0 at Craven Cottage. Usually I would be upset about that, but considering some of the other implications that happened, I'm okay with this. Manchester City and Nottingham Forest tied 2-2. This one could have gone either way, really. I thought Forest really had a chance to score and win and take some points away from Man City, but just did not happen. Newcastle beats Manchester United 2-1, even being a man down. I did watch some of this one. Gordon had a goal had a penalty at stoppage time at the 6th minute after Ramsey gets sent off in stoppage time. I thought after he got sent off, I thought it was going to be done there. But Newcastle gets a goal, but Manchester United do equalize back in stoppage time. So it started 1-1 second half, and it took it to the 90th minute until Newcastle got their second goal, so good win for them. Kind of stops the streak for Manchester United on points. Like I said, Patrick and I keep on saying they've been one of the luckiest teams, and the luck kind of ran out there a little bit. But the game that I know we will
is that guy still waiting to cut his hair?
Yes, he's not. He has to cut his hair. He's going to cut his hair after Manchester United have won 5 straight.
That's what I love about them. Like, just a random loss like this totally starts that streak over again for him.
Well, the funny thing was they had 4 wins, and then they played West Ham. They played West Ham, and West Ham was, bottom. They're 18th, and they were struggling. And West Ham should have beaten them, but then Manchester United got a goal to make it a draw, 1-1. So that was the game where he was thinking he was going to have his hair cut, but nope, they lost. So he's still growing his out. But the game that we all want to talk about, and the reason why Ed's not here, Thursday, Crystal Palace goes to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and beats them 3-1. Considering this was the weekday, did you watch any of this game?
I did not get to watch any of that game. That was on while we were on our drive to Savannah, and normally I would have had that on like on the iPad or something, but I didn't. We were going a back road route a little bit, and Rhonda was busy working, and I ended up not putting it on. I should have, but I didn't. And I don't want to sound conceited, but I kind of thought, we're probably going to win anyway. But I wish I'd have watched a little bit of that, but it'd have been like I'm doing now. I'm kind of out the side of my eye, keeping up with everything. But while I'm driving, it's not like I can just sit there and watch everything. I'd be listening to it more than anything.
Yeah, that's fair. I did try to watch some of this. I had it on the radio because on Sirius XM there is Sirius FC, so they will play the radio broadcast of the Premier League games. So very nice little feature. And
I should have done that. Actually, I didn't even think about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it because, especially for drives, it's just so much easier to listen to it. I honestly thought Tottenham was probably going to win this game at first because I like Crystal Palace. I think Strand Larsen signing was a great signing, and he's already kind of showing his worth there. But when Solanke got to his goal at the 34th minute, I was kind of thinking, okay, that was going to be timing where it's probably going to be they're going to dictate the control of the game. They're going to have the possession, and now they're going to have Crystal Palace on their heels. And I was thinking about that, Van der Ven got his red card. And that completely changed the whole perception of the game. The weirdest thing about the game, and what I thought, was all the goals came in the first half.
I saw that, and I thought that was very odd too.
Yeah,
especially with that score.
Yeah, Strand Larsen got a brace in the first 45 post stoppage, and then the Sarr penalty at the 7th mark pretty much ended the game. I would say I don't think Tottenham was going to come back down with 10 men in the second half from a 3-1 deficit. I thought it was pretty much done. And by the way the game was, it looked like it was. So that's it for the Premier League games right there. But if we look at the standings, let's go. I'm going to look at the table real quick. So here we are. I'm going to start at the bottom here. So your 3 relegation teams right now are Wolves at 16 points, Burnley at 19, West Ham at 28. Now this is where it gets interesting because at number 17 is Nottingham Forest, also at 28, but with a 4 goal differential higher versus -19 versus -15. And then there's Tottenham, 1 point above at 29. And after that, you got Leeds at 31 and Brighton at 37. I feel like the cutoff, Leeds will probably still be in the battle. To say Brighton and Crystal Palace, maybe, I think's a little bit of a stretch. I'm not going to say you guys are safe yet, but I feel like it's pretty close. But yeah, Tottenham now has a real reality now of possibly facing relegation. And considering that they've got a Champions League slate next going on that we will be talking about too, the question is, you probably are you going to play a weakened side against in a Champions League quarterfinal or a Champions League game to try to rest your players and get ready for Premier League to save survival on that? Because they're playing Atletico Madrid. That's not going to be an easy.
I know that sucks for Ed because that's my other team too. One of my teams too.
Right. I'm waiting for like Bayern and Atletico Madrid to play against each other at some point. Then you're going to have to pick.
Right.
But there's a real possibility we're going to see Tottenham probably play a weakened side in this round of 16.
I mean, if I was them, I would consider it for sure. At least, yeah. I mean, you got to do something. You got to. They know better than we do who's actually maybe in the need of rest and who's just kind of in a funk. And it's not really a rest issue. It's just, but I mean, I guess they've got to see what's more important to them: staying in the Premier League or winning this cup. Because I think staying in Premier League is what you want to win.
Yeah, you definitely want to stay more there. Because I mean, if they go down, like that's going to be one of those things that the only thing I can compare it to is River Plate going down in Argentina back in 2011, because it was a massive, massive club and they should not have dropped down, and they ended up dropping. Now I looked and see who the other relegation teams are playing. Now West Ham does have a home game against Manchester City. But Nottingham has a home game against Fulham. And Fulham has had their away struggles the past few times. Right. Arsenal has to go to Anfield and play Liverpool. So that's going to be a rough stretch for Tottenham.
Well, and the worst thing for them is to try and go full strength to win that game and still lose it. And then you haven't rested them and you still lost anyway.
I mean, that could be entirely possible. Now, Nottingham also does have a European matchup going on.
Where's the play? They're playing the games. Is it at Atletico?
Yeah, the first leg's at Atletico.
Okay.
So they play 2 legs. First leg's at Atletico. Second leg will be at Tottenham, and that is basically they'll play in the week of each other. So sandwiched between the 2 Atletico games, you have at Liverpool on Sunday. And then after that, next Sunday is probably one of, I would probably say, their most important game of the year now, where Nottingham Forest comes to town.
Yeah.
So, Donnie, I'm going to teach you. There is a phrase that is used called a relegation 6-pointer. And this is a perfect example. These are 2 teams that are fighting to stay above and not be relegated. Usually when 2 teams play against each other like that, they're called relegation 6-pointers because basically the result is 3 points up for one team, 3 points down for another.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So these are the kind of the big matchups. So, yeah. So Sunday, March 22nd, may be one of the biggest games. Actually, maybe not even maybe. One of the biggest games this year for Tottenham. And if they lose that one, then the possibility of relegation definitely increases.
Well, that being said, I think what you said about the playing a minimal lineup at Atletico is probably the best thing, and try to be a little bit stronger on the back end when they come to you, and maybe get that Premier League win in the middle there. So. Yeah, they probably should play a little more rest and staff, more rest on their staff that first game, like you said.
Yeah, like I said, they play. So the Atletico game's tomorrow. So we will We'll find out by what who they field and see how they'll handle this one. Because the idea, because if they go all out for Champions League, the idea of a team winning Champions League but being relegated at the same time, you're never going to see something like that.
Right.
But
I mean, if you can't stay up in the Premier League, what are your real chances of even winning the Champions League as well? So
right. So
you're going to eventually come up against somebody that you can't get past anyway. So you got to sacrifice one or the other, I guess, in my opinion. And I'd focus on the league.
Yeah. So will they do that? We'll see, but most likely. But since we already talked about Champions League, let's talk about the matchups for that. So we are in the round of 16 now for Champions League. So for games, for tomorrow's slate, we got Liverpool traveling to Galatasaray in Turkey. Barcelona travels to Newcastle, St. James's Park. Tottenham against Atletico. And Donnie, your other team is playing. Bayern travels to Italy to play at Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta United. So that's the slate for tomorrow. Wednesday slate, Bayern Leverkusen plays Arsenal. Chelsea travels to PSG. Real Madrid play Man City, so a lot of eyes will be on that one. And then the game that I will probably be watching, because I think this is going to be really good matchup, and really, I think one of these teams could really be surprised in the semis if it happens. Bodo Glimt from Norway up against Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. So definitely looking forward to that. Mark,
there's going to be some good matchups there.
Yeah, definitely. Mark, glad you can join us. So we're just working a two-man shift tonight. I don't know if one of the other ones will show up. We'll see. One's probably in hiding after Tottenham's performance against Crystal Palace, but he has a right to.
Well, and not only that, but you go all the way to Puerto Rico for a baseball game. You have fantastic weather until game day, and then you get stuck in several rain delays, which before yesterday, I think I had seen or heard there had only been 2 weather delays in the history of the WBC, and then they had 2 more yesterday at one game. So I don't know about you, but it would suck to go through all that and then sit there in the rain for the game that you they've had perfect weather until that, and they probably will have perfect weather after that for the rest of the games. And that would just suck to be at the one that's raining.
Yeah, I kind of go both ways on that, because you can't control the weather when something like that happens.
True,
but
very true.
It sucks to put all that in there.
I know. I just love the images of him and Paul throwing the ball on the beach in the sun, and then they go to the game and it's just like, ugh.
And yeah, Mark, I got to admit, Millwall beating Hull City 3-1 at Hull was definitely impressive. I'm really starting to think they're going to overtake Middlesbrough for that second spot. I know they're only 4 points back, but looking at the recent stretch between those two teams, Millwall's really looking like they're going to look like they're going to take that second spot. So
yeah, they've looked like the stronger of the two teams as of late.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. They do have of course, on tomorrow they play Derby County. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know if Derby's gonna have enough to beat them at home, and then they got Blackburn at home afterwards. I know championship needs to be a little bit more unpredictable, but I feel like they probably have that one. So other thing going on this weekend was the FA Cup. And some of the results on that, I watched a lot more FA Cup this week than I've had in the past. I've almost had to watch on every game that I could. Of course, we'll talk about one that really disappointed me, because, of course, I will just say this: use your subs earlier and don't wait until the 90th minute to use them. You'll probably find out which game I'm talking about when I say that. So for the FA Cup sides, Wolverhampton Wanderers lose to Liverpool 3-1 after beating them in the league the week before. Mansfield Town had a valiant effort against Arsenal, but lose 2-1, but good performance there. Probably the game. I don't know about the game of the week because there's one that actually has an upset, but Wrexham versus Chelsea. Chelsea beats Wrexham 4-2 and in additional extra time. I did talk to Patrick about this game. He thinks Chelsea was lucky to get out of this game with a win. I don't necessarily agree with that. I thought Chelsea was kind of the better team at the end, but Wrexham was definitely going to show up. Wrexham was going to, have a lot of energy going into it. I think they faded at the end. But yeah, Wrexham had a good performance, just not enough to beat Chelsea.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that score because I didn't get to watch any of that, but it is what it is. I guess I thought it would be closer and maybe more of a 2-1 or maybe even a draw potentially. But yeah, when I saw that Chelsea had won pretty good on that one, I was a little shocked. Maybe that's just PTSD from all of Patrick's woe is me with the Chelsea stuff too.
I mean that's fair. I know some of it. Sometimes he's messing with us. I think this one he was legitimately worried, which I don't blame him because especially with the way Wrexham has been playing,
they had been on a good run.
Yeah, they've been on a great run. You have a big, top 5 club coming into town. So yeah, I kind of understand that.
And they're also, they're in a position in the league where they're still. I don't even know that they can get in the top 2, but I know they're well in the playoff for a promotion spot. But I don't think they would have gone into this game similarly to what we were talking about with Tottenham and the playing down a little bit in this game just to save up for the league to make sure they make a good push at the end of that too.
So right now, they're 12 points away from the second automatic promotion spot, so they're not reaching that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because the teams ahead of them, you got Millwall, you got Ipswich, and Hull. Those are still good quality teams,
right?
Even though two of them did lose over the past weekend. But when it comes to Wrexham in the last playoff spot, yes, they are hanging on to the last playoff spot. Derby County and Southampton are right behind them with Derby County's 3 points back. Southampton is 4 points back. So it's not a guaranteed. It's not a guaranteed spot yet, but there is some separation coming. They can still hold on to it. I think they will. I think they'll be a playoff team for sure. I think they'll probably have the 6th spot.
Well, I don't know what roster they put out there. If they would have done like we were talking about with resting a few guys and hopefully, squeaking one out with Chelsea while giving some guys some rest to make a better push in the league.
So my opinion on that is I don't think they had to, because it's one thing with Champions League games where you're playing back-to-back weeks. FA Cup, there's enough time where it's spread out. I think that was a full. Even if I pulled up their roster, I wouldn't know if that was full strength or not because I don't follow it that closely. But I would say when you have a big team like that come into town, you play your best squad against them.
Yeah, and that's fair. And you're right. They haven't been playing the same type of schedule that the Premier League teams have with all those, just that extra wear and tear that they've been going through the last few months.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, agreed with that. Manchester City beats Newcastle 3-1. Southampton goes into Craven Cottage and beats Fulham 1-0 off of a penalty in the 90th minute. If Raul Jimenez was on the pitch, probably in the 80th minute, this may not have been a problem. But, of course, why are we putting our best players on the 90th minute? I do not know. So, definitely just bad sub mismanagement by Fulham in that game to basically give that one away.
Yeah.
The upset of the week, Port Vale, which is, I think, relegation in League One. Let me verify if it's League One or League Two. I think it's League One that they're in the relegation spots for. Yeah, they are 24th in League One, which I think is that's dead bottom.
Wow.
So they're 24th in League One. They beat Sunderland 1-0. So
It's like their Super Bowl. They just won. They came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah. So Port Vale actually has been lucky having, I think all of their matches have been home matches so far. I don't not think they've been on the road yet.
Wow.
But you kind of work with what they give you, and yeah, they've had nothing but home matches, but that's a Premier League side that's 2 levels higher, and they were able to beat them. So good for Port Vale. But
Absolutely.
I also know what their draw is for next week for when the draw happened, and they do not have a home game. I will say that much. Leeds United handles Norwich City pretty easily, 3-0. And then the game that happened today, West Ham United versus Brentford finished 2-2, but West Ham won on penalties 5-3. So West Ham advances to the next round. And as for the next round, so we're in the quarterfinal draw. We've got Southampton versus Arsenal. Arsenal has to travel to Southampton. Chelsea plays Port Vale. I'm sure Patrick will tell us he is completely worried about this game, and that Port Vale is going to find a way in the semis. Big matchup: Manchester City versus Liverpool, and then West Ham United versus Leeds United. So pretty good matchups there, I would say. So we still got one. We still got one minnow down. I don't really consider Southampton minnow, just kind of a good sized championship club. But we got Port Vale just hanging on there. It's the true underdog that's left. So we'll have to keep definitely looking forward on that. I do have an anomaly that happened, and I did post about this earlier. But did you guys see the Brazilian game that had multiple red cards?
Multiple is an understatement.
I would say about probably 24, 30. I don't know. I lost track of the number here. I think 24 cards.
20. I think it was 23 officially.
23. So this was in the Mineiro final, which is kind of like a division side for Brazil. It was Cruzeiro versus Atletico MG. Cruzeiro score, and this is a final, a cup final. Cruzeiro scores a penalty, scores a goal in the 60th, and they have a chance to have another one added on, but fight breaks out after a goalie gets hit by one of the players. And to say all hell breaks loose is a understatement. So this happened in the 90th minute plus 17, because as you can imagine, it was a long fight going on. If you guys want to see it, there is online somewhere. I know it is going. I know someone has it. But yeah, basically both teams and a manager got red cards to a total of 23 red cards.
Yeah, I saw earlier today when I was actually just sitting waiting for one of the customers to get out there to kind of help us sort of evaluate what we were looking at for today's job. And I came across a couple of videos of that, and you're right, it was kind of crazy. Like, the incident that started it at first didn't seem like much. I mean, it was just like, okay, he ran into him or he kind of hit him, but I don't know. I guess I didn't see like it was an intentional anything, but then the goalie kind of fell on top of him and he got mad. And then you're right, like it just exploded. The goalie got up and then this wave of bodies just swarmed him. And it looked like he smashed his head against the side post as a goal when they almost tackled him back into the netting. And I mean, it was like a WWE free-for-all or something. People were just coming off the top rope. People were coming out of nowhere, and it was just like 3 and 4 guys taking on 3 and 4 guys here and there, and just piles of people. Nuts.
Yeah, and that was kind of crazy. Now, something I did come across, Donnie, you would not know this because, I don't think you were really watching much at the time, but if Patrick was with me, he would be talking about, Casey Bright was wondering, the player that was Hulk in there, yes, that is the same Hulk from FC Porto and Zenit St. Peter. So kind of a legend at FC Porto. And so that was kind of one of the big surprises I saw, that he was still around. He went to China after Zenit St. Petersburg, and I'm wondering where he ended up. And now I know he's back in Brazil.
Of all the places or all the ways to find out where he was, this was one.
Yeah. And yes, he got red carded too. So in case anybody was wondering. When it comes to, I mean, I actually didn't even check your Bundesliga score because I already knew Bayern was going to win. I didn't bother.
Not to pivot too far here, but did you see the big Celtic win and the whole melee on the pitch of that game?
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually caught some of the game on there, and then I turned it off after the game went final, and I did not realize what happened until maybe 20 minutes later when an article came through. Yeah, apparently both fans, sets of fans, got on the field, and if you know anything about the Old Firm Derby, that's never a good sign to see.
No, and it looked like because that was who was the home team again? It was
Rangers was the home team.
Rangers, yeah, Rangers was the home team. So there were Rangers fans. I saw a Rangers fan that was running across the pitch with a flare and just shot it into the supporter group of Celtic fans in the end of the pitch there. It was crazy, and then they were hauling off fans from both sides, and I mean it wasn't the melee of Brazil, but it got intense there because it was the third time they've ever won there, ever.
No, they've won at Ibrox before.
Oh, have they? It seemed like it was one of the. I don't know. I thought it was a very rare thing.
It is rare to see a matchup like that in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup.
Okay.
But let me look up Celtic at Ibrox records because I could have sworn they had a lot more than that.
I thought I had read or heard that it was only the third or fourth time that they had ever actually won there. But maybe there was a scenario that happened within that I wasn't privy to.
Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, entertain the fans while I look this up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, the roads in South Carolina need to be repaved, I can tell you that. All this bouncing around. This is interstate driving. This isn't even back roads. So hopefully we can do something about these interstates because I-77 between Charlotte and Columbia is horrible, and parts of I-20 here in Columbia are horrible. Not that anybody cares about road conditions here. Okay, I see Phil's put up that Furman is going dancing. So Furman has won over ETSU to win the SoCon. So shout out to Furman. FU. All right. Way to go. It's funny, too, that because we've all joked recently about the FU thing. I was actually listening to Dan Patrick on my way to Charlotte this morning, and he was talking about Furman playing in the championship, and he had gone to somewhere with some friends, and their daughter was home from college and showed up with a sweatshirt that just had FU on the front of it. And he was like, "Are you okay with her wearing that?" And they're like, "Well, that's where she goes to school. It's Furman University." Even Dan Patrick and all of his sports knowledge didn't realize that's what the FU was for when he saw her at a personal social with that on. And I thought, that's fantastic right there. I've got to circle around and get an FU hoodie and an FU hat at some point.
And see, there's two teams I can think of that can claim FU, and that is Furman and Fordham.
Yeah,
Fordham University also has that. So yeah, good win for that. And we also just had another team clinch, and Troy Trojans win the Sun Belt Conference, and now they are dancing. So let's talk about that real quick. That's a good segue. Donnie, can you name the two North Carolina teams that are currently dancing?
The two North Carolina teams.
Yeah, the two that you did not bring up on the show.
Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the second one. Give me a second here. No, I cannot. Help me out here. Give me the two teams.
So,
because I know the one I didn't bring up, and Phil, you are complicit in this just by being the co-guest host. We forgot to bring.
So we'll talk about the second one because that one's a little more significant. But the first one was High Point out of the Big South.
Okay. Well, and I saw High Point was playing. I did not realize they had actually won yet.
Yeah. So High Point wins out of the Big South. And I said, I have to give props to my purple teams. So including Furman, although High Point, I'm not really a big fan of, but.
Well, and this other team, Phil should have known. And I'm giving Phil a hard time because he probably shouldn't have come up with this anyway. But this team also beat one of his teams in baseball, which was a huge upset, even though they don't really want to think it is last week. So,
well, the thing about this other team's game that I really was very wanted to see, they were in the Atlantic Sun Conference Final against Central Arkansas. Right. Another team who has never been to the tournament. So one of the things that I do like seeing are teams that are debuting. So either one of those teams that winning was basically a win for me also. But that team, in their first year eligible to be in the NCAA tournament, the Queens University Royals. So now, of course, for people who do not know, Queens University Royals will probably not exist next year because the school itself is combining with Elon University. Now, whether that means they have the school being different or not, I don't know. Could be a possibility. But yeah, Queens may not exist next year. So this is definitely a nice big celebration for them to be a part of.
Yeah, and I find it odd that they're merging with Elon because Elon's not in Charlotte.
No, Elon's like closer to Burlington, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, why are they? Yeah, like, and they've got a beautiful little campus downtown Charlotte, or not downtown Charlotte, but south of downtown Charlotte. It just seems weird that they're merging with Elon. I mean, I could see if they were being absorbed by UNC Charlotte. That, not that any of it makes sense, but Elon just seems like, why are you merging with Elon when they're not even in close proximity to where you are? So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to read more about that because I'm kind of curious. Other teams that have advanced, LIU, Long Island has advanced. Long Island has actually not played their conference final yet. But since their final is up against Mercyhurst, who is ineligible, and they beat Stonehill, which was the last eligible team that could have played for them, Long Island already has claimed a bid before even playing their final. So good for Long Island. One that I am really, really excited about, considering they have not been in the tournament since 1994, that is Tennessee State out of the Ohio Valley. They're having a generational, probably one of their best squads they've ever put together at that program. So they will probably be a 16 seed. I don't know if they'll be in a play-in game or not. We'll see. But absolutely looking forward to watching Tennessee State. And then Northern Iowa from the Missouri Valley is the other team. So we're still having some. So of course, we had two clinch tonight with Troy from the Sun Belt and of course Furman from the SoCon. I do not know if there's any other ones going on right now that has a final. So now we have a few semifinals currently going on. The SWAC championships have just kicked off. A lot of the championships are kicking off right now. We do have some semifinals at least, so that's good. Taken care of. Tomorrow is going to be a big day because we're going to have a bunch of games. Basically, Big 12 kicks off. That'll start at 11:30 in the morning. So, pretty much have my XM going on that. As for finals, we have the it's not the Colonial anymore. I forgot what it was called, but I always call it the Colonial. That will be a final. We will have the Northeastern Conference final, but which, of course, that has Mercyhurst being a part of, so Long Island already advances there. We will have the Horizon League final, which will not include a certain green team. We will have the West Coast Conference final, and then the MAC final between Siena and Merrimack. Merrimack has a chance to – actually, I don't know if Merrimack is eligible. Yeah, Merrimack is eligible. So Merrimack has a chance to make the tournament for the first time against the Siena Saints. The Conference USA championship kicks off tomorrow. That will be in Huntsville, Alabama. Will I be going? Probably not. Because I got obligations to this show. And then
you can broadcast from the game.
See, I thought about that, but the problem is the problem with that is the VBC is not really Wi-Fi friendly or internet friendly, so I'm going to have a lot of reception problems there.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, and the Big 12 tournament kicks off tomorrow, like I said, so Oklahoma State will find another way to disappoint me.
Yeah, Clemson doesn't play till Wednesday night. They've got the late game Wednesday night in Charlotte against the winner of Virginia Tech and I forget the other team, but they're laying and waiting for 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday.
Yeah, so they got to buy to the next stage.
Yeah, I think it might be Florida State. Maybe you can check that. I think it's Virginia Tech and Florida State tomorrow. Whoever wins that advances to play Clemson. They've got several different layers of buys in the ACC, which again, with all these conferences having so many teams now, it drives me insane. I wish we could go back to the days of 10 and 12 team conferences.
I don't mind the big conferences in this case. I just need a place where I can just see a bracket quicker. That's what I really want.
Well, that's true too, because it's always difficult to find in any of these brackets, and I don't know why they make it so difficult.
Well, I mean, like we have the Sun Belt bracket, and see, the Sun Belt bracket was kind of funny because Georgia Southern was a 10th seed in that, and they were in the final against Sun Belt, and they played 5 straight consecutive games to get to where they were.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive that they almost ran a gauntlet, but at the same time, they just couldn't make it. Let me put the ACC one for you. Okay, so for the ACC bracket, we've got Clemson as a 5th seed. They will be playing the winner of Virginia Tech Wake Forest, the 12-13.
Wake Forest, okay.
And then the winner of that has a date against North Carolina.
Yeah, so I think the 1 through 4 have, for lack of a better term, a double bye.
Yes.
And then 5, 6, 7, 8 have the bye to play the winners of the 4 games tomorrow.
Yes.
So
yeah, definitely looking out for that one. Let me check the Big 12 one since that involves Oklahoma State to see where we're at with that.
And I haven't looked at the SEC to see. I don't even know who's where on the SEC, to be honest with you.
SEC, I believe Florida is 1.
Yeah, they should be up there.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah, your top 4 seeds are Florida at 1, Alabama at 2, Arkansas at 3, Vanderbilt at 4.
Okay.
So pretty good matchup. So your first round games, you have LSU versus Kentucky, which is the 16 night. Kentucky's playing on the first round. Man, I never thought I'd have to say that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Mississippi State versus Auburn, which is the 13-12. A lot of people are going to be looking at Auburn because even with a 16 and 15 record, they are still adamant they should be in the tournament. Ole Miss and Texas at the 15-10, and then South Carolina playing OU at the 14-11. So congratulations, Phil. You did not finish last in the SEC. As for Big 12, Baylor and Arizona State play their first game 13-12. Then Utah, Cincinnati at 16-9. Cincinnati being a 9's kind of scary. Even another scarier seed, BYU's 10th versus Kansas State at 15. And then Oklahoma State's the 14th seed against Colorado, the 11th seed. If Oklahoma State somehow pulls that off, they'll play TCU next, and then they have a date with Kansas if they win that one. So will that happen? Probably not, but we'll see.
I missed Mark's comment a minute ago about their government. Queens are always going to be around, the alphabet burger.
Let me pull it up. There we go.
When we were talking about Queens College, I guess he dropped that in. You got to love that monarchy, huh? Huh there, Mark? Living off the people.
And Phil, I agree. I think Southwest Conference should come back.
Absolutely.
But will it ever? No. Why? Texas. At this point, Texas should probably just go independent. But
yeah.
It'd make a lot of people happy, especially me, because I don't have to deal with them. So
it'd be interesting to see them say, "Well, if Notre Dame can do it, we can do it."
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I am actually excited for women's basketball for SWAC because Alabama A&M did win a share of the SWAC conference in women's. So hopefully they'll make it through the tournament. Would love to see them, even if they get slaughtered by South Carolina in their first game. I just want to see. I hope they make it to the tournament. That'd be that's just great for that college in general, or the university. Let me just actually check women's while I'm thinking about that, because now I'm curious what that one looks like. And this is where I find out that they lose. So they actually do not start. Okay, they do not start until Wednesday. So they have a double bye.
Okay.
Or they have a bye in the quarterfinals. So we will not know until Wednesday to see how they do. So definitely keep an eye on that for me. So Donnie, pivoting around for a little bit. I know you always kind of had the question, what is Paxton Lynch up to? I know someday
I saw that earlier today. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I know someday you kind of think about, what Memphis great Paxton Lynch is up to. And the answer is he's in the National Arena League with the Colorado. Why did it just disappear? See, this wouldn't happen if Ed was here. With the Colorado Spartans. Because
and this is an arena league that I don't even think we've talked about recently when we were talking about all the other arena leagues.
No, this was one we did not talk about. This is the National Arena League.
Right.
Which has 9 teams, and we did not talk about any of them. But yeah, Paxton Lynch has shown up with the Colorado Spartans. His last known appearance in football was with the San Antonio Brahmas in 2023.
Wow. Okay.
So, but I like seeing stories like that because you never know. With arena football, you never know who's going to show up or who's going to be there.
Well, I've got one for you too that I saw earlier before I got on the road. The Bills just signed a backup quarterback, a former Detroit Lion quarterback that I've never heard of, but apparently he's Josh Allen's friend, Kyle Allen. So see what you can tell me about Kyle Allen, because Kyle Allen's going to make about $4 or $5 million as a backup quarterback. I don't even know who he is. Where did he come from?
So Kyle Allen, I have his stuff up here. He played his college game he played college at Texas A&M in Houston.
Okay.
And I don't remember him from that. He went undrafted in 2018. Oh, Donnie, you just told on yourself. His first team that he played for, 2018-2019, was the Carolina Panthers.
Oh man. Okay. Now that you say that, dang. Okay, I kind of remember the name now that you say that.
No, you don't. You don't lie to me. You've always been a paper fan, and this just exposed you.
I would have like if you just said, give me 5 tries to name another team he's played for, I would have not come up with the Panthers. But now that you say that, I do kind of remember. Again, I don't remember anything about him, but I do remember him as a quarterback because that was that transition around. Rule. Matt Rule was in there, and he had him, and he had PJ. PJ Walker, I think.
I believe so.
And somebody else. It was like a carousel of. It was like the carousel of who are these guys? Is what it was. Because PJ Walker had come from like the XFL or UFL as well. We had nobody of any kind of note at quarterback. Now that you say that, it's ringing a bell with me now. But when I saw that, I was like, dang, this guy's nobody, and he's still going to make $4 or $5 million as a backup to Josh Allen.
Well, the other thing I kind of looked at was where else did he play? So hold on. I went down a rabbit hole.
Okay, because I would have no idea where he went after the Panthers because he did nothing for the Panthers.
Let me verify one thing real quick, and then I'm going to get back to this because I said I went down a rabbit hole on something, and then I saw another name when I was looking up the Arena Football College people or colleges, okay. And I was saying there was a player that I saw that went to Oklahoma State, and I'm trying to see if that's who I thought it was.
So we'll circle back around to that rabbit hole after we finish this other one.
Yeah, because the name that came up, I'm like, it looks too familiar, but I think it's not the same spelling. It's not the same spelling. Okay, never mind.
Okay,
so we can roll that out. So Kyle Allen's NFL career so far started with the Carolina Panthers 2018 through 2019. And then went to the Washington football team 2020 through 2021. After that, he jumped to the Houston Texans in 2022. And then this is actually will be his second stop in Buffalo because he was at Buffalo in 2023.
So maybe that's why he and Josh Allen have a history then. Okay. He was there with Josh Allen and then didn't stick, and now he's coming back. Okay,
so after reading his college career, now I know why I know that name, but I will explain that afterwards.
Okay.
Pittsburgh Steelers 2024, and then he was with the Lions 2025. And he actually has passing stats, so it's not like he's not just riding the bench the entire time. I mean, he is. He's had 707 pass attempts. He's completed 62.5% of his passes, has more touchdowns than interceptions at 62 and 21. So, I mean, it's not like it's some kind of nobody. He's played, but I just kind of found that funny. But
he got playing time with Carolina. Now that I've identified who he is, I know he played some because it was a carousel. So I know he collected some stats with them, if nothing else. But anyway, go ahead.
But why Kyle Allen sounded familiar to me and why I forgot about it, why this opened up another door for me. Do you remember who the quarterback was after Johnny Manziel left from Texas A&M?
It was oh shoot. Oh my gosh, I know the name because he played against South Carolina, and I said something about the new era. It wasn't Johnny Football. It was shoot. I'm gonna kick myself when you tell me his name.
It was the man that they dubbed Kenny Thrill.
Kenny Thrill, that's it. Yep.
Kenny Hill, who is currently the running backs coach of Arkansas State. I did not know that.
Dang. Okay. Because I
So
remember, I remember the next year after he came in, it was the Kenny Thrill. I think they played South Carolina, and I remember specifically posting something like, uh, "He's he's more than Johnny Football. He's a thrill," or something like that.
right. But if you also remember, he got benched pretty quickly.
He did. The
And
thrill
guess who
didn't
replaced
last very long.
Yes, and guess who replaced him?
That was, I guess it would have been Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen. Yep.
Yeah.
So Kyle Allen played 2 years at A&M and then redshirted at Houston and then played a senior year at Houston.
Who's the quarterback from Texas A&M? It would have been after Kyle Allen, obviously. Now that he was fairly well drafted, but he hasn't done anything. I think his name starts with a K as well. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on. I can picture it, but I can't think of his freaking name.
Let's see. So it starts with a K.
I thought, unless I'm totally getting mixed up with somebody else, but because I thought he was the quarterback for Jimbo Fisher that ended up getting drafted pretty high, or higher than that people expected him to, or something. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing that up with something else.
So after Kyle Allen, it was Trevor Knight.
That's not who I'm thinking of.
But Trevor Knight was more. That's not who it is.
No.
No, Kellen. It has to be Kellen Mond.
Mond, that's it. Kellen Mond is who I was thinking of. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Kellen Mond was 2018.
Yeah. Okay, because Kellen Mond was who I was. Because he got drafted pretty high and was almost like an NFL bust. Because he shouldn't have been drafted as high as he was. At least the pundits didn't think he would have gotten drafted that high, and I forget who it was that took a chance on him, but.
So Kellen Mond was drafted 3rd round by the Vikings in 2021.
Yeah, and people were thinking he was like later rounds than even 3rd round. They were like, really?
Funny enough, the player that got drafted right after him at the 3rd pick of the 3rd round actually had some pretty good backup starts this year in Davis Mills.
Okay.
So, but I don't even know if Mond is still. Where is Mond right now?
I think he's in the UFL.
And you would be correct. The San Antonio Brahmas.
Yep.
He was practice squad in 2023. Yeah, 2023 practice squad for the Colts, 2024 practice squad for New Orleans. Would you like to hear his career NFL stats?
Sure. It can't be much.
Okay. He has the good news is he's got a completion percentage of 66.6%.
Was he like 5 for something? I don't know.
You're close. He was 3 for 2.
3 for 2. Okay.
Or he was 2 for 3. My bad. He was 2 for 3.
2 for 3. 2 for 3. Yeah.
He had 3 passing attempts, 2 completions for 5 passing yards.
Wow. That's his entire NFL?
Yeah. Now, of course, I can't say anything because I could never do that. But still, that's Kellen Mond's NFL history.
I could go out there right now and go 1 for 1 for 10 yards with somebody. I guarantee it.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
I absolutely think I can. Just like I'm faster than Giancarlo Stanton.
Probably at opening a bag of chips, yes.
At least I can do that and open a bottle of water.
I may ask that question tomorrow with everybody. Can you throw more passing yards in an NFL game than Kellen Mond?
Yeah.
Because I know I can't. So, like I said, since it's only just the two of us, I kind of had everything we already were going to talk about. We kind of blew through it pretty quick. So, Donnie, do you have anything you'd like to bring to the table? Because I know we've got NFL stuff to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about World Baseball Classic because Eric was at the Houston games on Saturday, so we got to see Italy, Brazil, and U.S. Great Britain. Was it U.S. Great Britain? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we'll get to hear him talk about that one. I don't know if Ed's back yet tomorrow or not. So we'll see.
I don't know either. I don't know if he thought he was going to be back by Tuesday, or maybe he's coming home tomorrow and wasn't going to be back available for the show till Thursday. I don't know.
Yeah, but stay tuned for that so you guys get to hear about World Baseball Classic talk tomorrow. We're looking forward to talking about that.
Well, the only other thing I was curious about was your take on LSU baseball constantly losing to these smaller schools this past few weeks in these midweek non-conference games. Like, just what your take is on that, because they seem to be just like falling off the ledge here or something.
So the problem with trying to base off of the baseball schedules is, they play a series.
Yeah.
And it's not out of the realm of possibility that some of these teams can steal wins.
Sure.
Because because I'm pulling up their schedule right now, I'm looking at this. Everyone was kind of talking about, the Northeastern games. They shouldn't have lost that one. Northeastern's really good team.
Yeah, the thing that got me was when they lost that first non-conference game a week or so ago, and they stayed at number 2, and I was like, how did they not drop a little bit? I mean, that's a team they shouldn't lose to. And and then they lost 2 this week. This past week. 2 games to 2 different teams. And I thought, and I haven't seen the rankings, so I don't know if they had to have dropped out of number 2.
Yeah, they dropped to like 13th, 14th, around there. But I did see that this morning. Hold on, hold on. What's this? He believes that Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Okay.
I thought he was going to save that for tomorrow.
Well, I think he's going to have. I think he wants like the true like non-angry answer to this versus what Ed's probably going to say when he says this. But I want to hear your reasoning why you think Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. I just want to hear your reason first before I give my answer.
Okay. Well, Mike Grell, he called me this afternoon. We were talking about some of the crazy transactions going on today, and and I said something about Mike Evans going to the 49ers. And he's like, yeah, he's like in his 30s or something. And I said, yeah, but now he's going to have a better quarterback. And I thought, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Brock Purdy's not better than Baker Mayfield. I'm like, well, in that system, he is a better quarterback. He's a better player within that system. That was kind of my antithesis of that, is that, yes, Mike Evans has been getting his yard. And that was the thing Mike brought up. Evans has gotten his yardage until this year. He's been getting over 1,000 yards. And we went down the rabbit hole of which quarterbacks have been throwing in the ball. Of course, he had Tom Brady before Baker Mayfield, and then he had Jameis Winston. So he's had, 2 potential Hall of Famers ahead of Baker Mayfield. No, I'm just kidding. He's had a Hall of Famer ahead of Baker Mayfield for 2 years. And I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's a bad quarterback. And there's aspects of his game that are probably a lot better than Brock Purdy. I just think it's a better quarterbacking situation for him to be more successful, because he hasn't been going anywhere with Tampa, and look at who he's had outside of Brady.
Purdy to me is more efficient.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I mean by he's going to have a better overall quarterback getting him the ball, a better situation getting him the ball. I think the way I said it caught Mike off guard, and then I just ran with it with him. Is that, oh yeah, he's better.
The way that I would describe it, Baker Mayfield will win you games. Brock Purdy will lose you games.
Yeah.
Because if Baker has an interception, I feel like he has a tendency to overcome them pretty quick. Because then also he's able to run too. When Purdy makes some mistakes, I don't know how you're and this goes back to his time at Iowa State. He will make throws that makes you question how did you get a starting quarterback job?
Right.
And there's just some teams, there's some games that I can probably point to, like the one of the Seattle games this year is probably a good example of this, where he lost the team that game because of some of the decisions that he makes. I think Baker can make better decisions than him, but if I'm going with a quarterback who I think can win me the most games, it's Purdy.
Yeah,
So
and that's kind of where I was at. Was like Purdy in that system with Shanahan is a better quarterback than what he's getting out of Baker Mayfield in Tampa in that system. That's kind of what I was getting at. Baker is a gunslinger, and yeah, he has that willpower that's going to help propel him out of some situations. Purdy's just going to be consistent. And you're right, he's going to make some mistakes. He's probably going to cost you some games. But if he does what he's supposed to do, and a lot of times Purdy's problem has been that he hasn't had all of his weapons with injuries or just not having a full complement of weapons. It's a better situation with Purdy at quarterback for Mike Evans than it was with Baker, is what I'm trying to get.
The fact that they had the year that they had, now CMC was healthy for the full year, which really surprised the crap out of everybody, I think. But like their wide receivers were a carousel of injuries. Jennings didn't play a full season. Persall didn't play a full season. Ayuk never even played a game.
Yeah.
And so like when, and so, yeah, this is kind of having Evans there. I mean, if he can stay healthy, that's going to be that's a true wide receiver one for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think he's going to help make Purdy seem even better or be even better because he's going to be – he's a deep threat, and they haven't had that. Because everything they did with Debo was a dump and run. They haven't really had that downfield. Ayuk was for a little bit, and Jennings has been at times, but Mike Evans is your consistent. I mean, you get him 30, 40 yards downfield, hit him in stride, and he's gone.
Yeah, that's probably – it's not my favorite trade. I mean, not my favorite. No, it's not my favorite signing of this year in this cycle. But it's definitely probably a top 5 for me. Probably even top 3. There's 2 other ones I think are probably better ones, like better fits. Like, oh, that's going to be great. That's Kenneth Walker going to Kansas City and Tyler Algier going to Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know how your Seattle let Kenneth Walker go, but
I'm not surprised. Honestly, I think it's because I mean, if you saw this season, they were playing running back by committee with Charbonnet. And
that's true. That's true.
The thing with Walker, and I think the reason why they did what they did this year was because Walker has had injury issues in the past, being a bell cow.
Yeah.
In a way. So they kind of split him up to keep him healthy because by the time we were in playoffs, he was getting a lot more carries than Charbonnet. He was kind of being let loose, and you kind of saw what he was doing. Like I said a while back, going into Super Bowl, Seattle wins that game if Walker can establish the run, and that's exactly what he did. So
yeah, and when Charbonnet went down, he carried the load. He did what he needed to do. So,
but to go back to your other question that you're asking, LSU baseball.
Yeah.
So I did go back and look at. I pull up their season. So they lost to McNeese State on Tuesday. Those Tuesday games can be weird sometimes. And McNeese, it's in state. Usually the smaller teams are going to have a more reason to play.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to 7-6. I'm not going to write that off as like, oh, they're falling apart.
And that's probably why they didn't drop after that game.
Yeah. Northeastern, losing Northeastern 13-10. Northeastern makes the tournament almost every, they're a tournament team. They will win their conference. They are a good team. Anybody who is familiar with them in that area just know they're going to be around. They put up a good quality program. So that one, not surprised. Then the next 2 there on the Wednesday, Louisiana Lafayette 7-2. Okay. And then Sacramento State happens.
Exactly. That's my point. It's like, what? They lost 2 out of 3 to them.
Lost 2 out of 3 to Sacramento State, gives up a grand slam against them in one of the games. I think it was the Saturday game. But they beat them 15-4. That's when it's one thing to lose a game. It's another to lose a series, because this is like Kent State, and no offense to Kent State, because I know Kent State is good at baseball too. This is like Kent State beating Tennessee in a series. Like, you don't see them losing series, and that's where you have a little problem there. Now, it is a one-off series. They do play Creighton tomorrow, so we'll see if they bounce back from that. But their first SEC game series is at Vanderbilt. And that's not, I will go ahead and say that it's not going to be a cakewalk. So if they get swept in that, they will probably lose a game or two in that one, I would say. If they get swept in that series, I would probably sound alarm bells.
Yeah.
Something's definitely kind of off with that team. But do I think they'll bounce back? I think they're fine, honestly.
Yeah. I'm sure they will too. It just seemed odd to me for them, a team like that caliber, because I know I'd lose my mind if Clemson lost games like that. And they've lost, some weird ones here and there over the last few years too. But yeah, that's one of those. It's like, okay, the McNeese State, I got it. That was a close game actually. That was a great game actually till the end.
Mm-hmm.
And McNeese State won. I thought, okay, no big deal. I thought maybe they'd drop a spot or something just because it was McNeese State and not a bigger school, but I get it. And then all of a sudden they come out and they lose a couple at the beginning of the week, and I thought, ooh, dang, those are teams they might not should have lost to. And then when I saw this weekend, I'm like, holy crap, what is going on with LSU baseball? That is not something you expect from them.
I would say the Louisiana Lafayette loss was probably worse. And okay, if I'm ranking their losses, I would say Sacramento State, Louisiana, and tiers of like the worst. Sacramento State, Louisiana Lafayette, McNeese, Northeastern.
Yeah,
probably in that order. The Sacramento State one, I'm kind of like, okay, I need to pay attention to that. Do you know who they play after Vanderbilt on Tuesday?
No, I do not.
Grambling State.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Now that you say that, because I remember looking at the Grambling schedule and seeing that they did have to play LSU at some point. So
yeah,
I will have to keep an eye on that one and see how my Grambling guys do.
What position is he? Is a pitcher?
Charles is a third baseman.
Third baseman. Okay, so we'll probably, I would say, probably a possibility.
Yeah, and I don't know that he's starting every game. He's a true freshman, so he hasn't played every game so far. I need to look and see what he's done the last game or two.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to check in on that, see how he's doing.
Yeah, but no, I was pulling up. Let me see where they're rated at on here. I'm pulling up a top 25 right now, and they are currently number 13. Dropped 11 points.
I mean, that makes sense after like you said, the series with Sacramento State. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I would think even if let's say that they beat Northeastern, they beat Louisiana Lafayette, they beat McNeese State, you still got to drop losing a series to Sacramento State. Like you can't. That's a. And I don't even know if I'm trying to think if Sacramento State even. Let me see what Sacramento State did last year. I want to see if they even made the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not sure how their program has been. But we talked about them in football moving up to FBS, so maybe in a lot of sports they're doing better than we would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Sacramento State did not make a regional. Did not make regionals last year. So they finished with 32. They finished 32-26, which 500 record, and the what conference are they in? They're in Big Sky. Oh, they're in the WAC. They're in the WAC. Yeah, they're in the WAC.
Yeah.
WAC for baseball. So yeah, they
Okay.
played. The last two games they lost 1-9 to Utah Valley, and then 7-0 to Abilene Christian. So yeah, I would not say they're a program that they're not like a Wright State from last year that beat Vanderbilt. They're not. They didn't do anything in the regionals. They're just there. But see, I'm kind of wondering how they're going to do now because, maybe Sacramento State's putting something together. So I'm going to pull up their schedule real quick and see how they're doing so far. They're 5-10. They got swept by UC Irvine. They won their series against St. Joseph. They lost to Pacific. They got swept by Cal. They lost to Fresno State, but they beat LSU. It's baseball, man. I don't know. You're muted.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd cut the truck off and everything went dead, so I turned it back on. Now it's playing through the speaker of the truck.
Okay.
Rather than my earbud. So.
Yeah. So yeah, Sacramento State's 5-10 have lost all their series but two. They beat St. Joseph's, and now they have claimed LSU series.
Well, that's something they can hang their hat on for their team going into their season more. So
I would just go ahead and hang a banner if I were them.
Yeah. SEC champions. They can go ahead and claim it. We're taking the SEC. We won it.
And tomorrow they get to play UMass Lowell.
Okay.
So that is that's kind of a weird Tuesday matchup. That's in Sacramento. So be curious how that was. Now they actually do go to Kansas. So I have to warn Prophet make sure not to freak out about that game.
Yeah.
They don't play Wichita State though, so they're dodging that. They actually so we're going to talk about them being giant killers. They play UCLA, who is currently number 1 in baseball rankings right now, 24th, 25th, and 26th of April.
Wow.
So with how baseball will go, they will not win another series until that one.
Yeah.
So that's just how that will happen.
I mean, in some miraculous fashion, they were to take that series, they will have taken that at that point. If UCLA is still number 1, they claim they took a series of number 2 LSU and number 1 UCLA this season. So we'll see. I don't know if it'll last, but it's worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I agree. So another one that I feel like, and that's the thing, like everyone's focusing on that one, but that's not the only one that happened. Florida lost a series against High Point.
Yeah, I saw that. There's a lot. I'll tell you this. I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 weeks, there seemed to be a lot of the quote unquote bigger teams, the bigger schools, bigger conference schools losing these midweek games. I mean, South Carolina lost to Queens College a few weeks ago. I mean, these SEC and other larger conference, Ohio State, I think, lost some games to some smaller schools on these midweek games. I mean, these are supposed to be, for the most part on these bigger programs, these are supposed to be like, practice games for them and a chance for the other guys to see how they fare against the bigger schools. These other guys have been beating the bigger schools, so you got to watch out.
Right. And see, the Sunday game in Florida really probably could have been swept because their Sunday game, they won 12-11. They had to come back to win that one.
Yeah.
So
I'm
really
glad to see the smaller baseball schools though making a little run at some of these bigger schools and saying, hey, don't forget about us. We're not just fodder for you to beat up on before you play your big weekend conference series and stuff.
Listen, I enjoy baseball at that level. Like,
Absolutely.
I've been to quite a few games, but in the end, Phil is right. Conference games are what really counts.
Yep. Yeah.
So yes, we can talk about what kind of damage the Sacramento State being LSU, and the answer is not going to be much because they could sweep Vanderbilt, and then everything would just be like, they may be back number 2 at that point. Who knows? But
right.
But when you see a big school lose to a small school, regardless of the context behind it, you still got to talk about it.
Oh yeah, it still raises those eyebrows. Like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because you don't normally see that.
No.
And like I said, if it was just one of those games, it'd be like, no big deal. But they've lost 5 of those games in the last 2 weeks, and 2 of those 5 to the same team. So, 5 games to 4 different smaller school teams. That's like, okay, that's a little more than just, oh, well, that's a game.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like the Northeastern one, yes, it is an upset when you look at the size of the school, but I don't consider that as big as an upset.
Right.
Because like even though they did win the series, Oklahoma State lost to Gardner-Webb 17-5 on a Friday, and it's like, how the hell did that happen? And
the Gardner-Webb must have thrown every great pitcher they had against them that day to just try and we're going to get one of these.
Yeah, apparently it was 19-5. I took away 2 runs from them because it hurt that much. But then they win the series. They beat them 4-2 the next day, and then 16-1 the day after. So I mean, it's baseball, man. That's all you can say. It's college baseball.
Exactly. Anybody can win a game here and there on any given day.
And basically, Phil just admitted that he had the South Carolina take it out on a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, they did sweep Princeton this weekend after, losing games they shouldn't have lost before that. So maybe they're on the right track. Who knows? Although Clemson beat them 2 out of 3 too. So there's that.
Will Furman ever bring back baseball?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a question for Phil. I doubt it unless something changes with the just the level of sports. It's a shame they don't have baseball because that's a perfect school, in my opinion, to have a baseball program.
Yeah, that one shocks me that they don't. There's 3 schools that. Yeah, I'm going to add Furman to the 3rd school that I'm shocked does not have baseball. Because UT Chattanooga is one that I still don't understand why it's not. It could be administrative. Like Phil said, it's current leadership. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Tulsa is the other one. I'm surprised it does not have one.
Yeah.
But Tulsa is kind of small.
Yeah, and there's a lot of small schools around here that I've got to do a better job trying to get out to some of these games. I know when Beeson was here the last few weeks, he got out to a Benedict College game, and that's one that I want to go to, is go over there and check out a Benedict game. I played summer before last. I played some adult league games over there on that field, and it was in some rough shape at the time. They had mostly turf infield, and it didn't appear in Zach's photos that it's still a turf field. I think they've pulled that up and put grass down. So I want to go out there and check that out and maybe see a Benedict College game. I looked at the schedule. USC Aiken has some pretty decent teams coming through here in the next few months too. For that level, I'd like to go check out something down there because I work right around that field all the time. And I haven't even seen that new stadium. They used to have their baseball field in a different spot, and I actually thought they got rid of baseball because where the baseball stadium used to be, or baseball field used to be, it wasn't even a stadium really. There's a big, huge building there now, and that's because they built a brand new stadium back behind somewhere else, and apparently it's pretty nice little field. So I need to go down there and check that out, but. I need to do a better job checking out some of these smaller colleges around me because there are so many of them. Go check out some games.
Yeah, definitely. I do not go to many UAH games as I should. So I definitely need to change that. But they're going to be away for quite a bit. Their next game's not till March 24th.
Wow.
Or the next home game's not until March 24th, but I may go to the March 27th, 28th, 29th series because it's Delta State.
Oh, there you go.
So may have to look at that. But something that I kind of forgot that they are doing is happening on Wednesday. So they are playing Miles College, which is in Montgomery. But, or maybe I think it's Fairhope. It's not. It's South Alabama. We'll just keep it like that.
Yeah.
But Miles College is playing all of their baseball games at Rickwood. So the University of Alabama Huntsville will be playing at Rickwood on Wednesday.
There you go. That's a nice little afternoon.
Well, yeah, not for this week because it's I've got a lot of work going on. I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
It'll keep a day.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll have to. That may be a thing I wake up and decide to do.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to do Wednesday games sometimes for me, especially like in the morning.
Yeah,
like I'll do the Bedlam one next year because usually June's kind of like my downtime.
Right.
Or like that summer's like my downtime, so I'll be able to do it there. So we'll see. We'll see on that. But yeah, UEH is playing at Rickwood. That'll be nice to see for sure. Where do you draw the line at what games you go to? Like, will you go to, like Phil says, high school games? Will you go to high school games? Will you go to community college games?
I mean, I'm not opposed to going out to some high school games. We got some really good high school baseball around here. Heck, Lexington High School is literally a mile from my house here, and I don't ever get to any Lexington High School games. It's just like it doesn't hit my radar, I guess. I don't pull the schedule up and say, oh, they've got games. Like, I don't even pay attention to when their games are to even know they're doing them. And that's something I need to do is say, oh, Lexington's playing, or Dutch Fork. Dutch Fork's won state championships for a lot of years. They've been a really strong program, and they're just on the other side of the lake from me. So, I mean, I could be over there in 15, 20 minutes. But I just haven't made it a priority. I used to love going to and see it. Well, I coached a lot of high school kids, travel baseball and high school summer league stuff for years, but that's been 20-something years ago. But when I was involved in that, I used to love going to high school high school baseball games. Mm-hmm. So I just need to pick. I mean, hell, we got so many shows. I need to pick a night that I can go to a game.
So I want to end on this note. So we've talked about community college baseball. So before I went to UAH, I went to Calhoun Community College, which has a baseball program. Do you want to guess who their most famous alumni is that played baseball?
And was it you said
Calhoun Community College?
And they're in Huntsville?
They're in Huntsville. Well, technically Tanner, but it's right by Huntsville. Okay. And it is a former Yankees player.
Former Yankees player. Hensley Mullins. No, I'm just kidding. I was trying to.
Okay, Patrick.
I was going deep cut on a Yankees player. And give me like the last 10 years or prior to that or what? Last play in 2011.
Has his number retired?
It's not Bernie Williams, is it?
It is not Bernie Williams, no. I'll give you one more guess.
I'm trying to think of numbers retired. And Bernie Williams played since 2011. Willie Randolph?
Willie Randolph? Nope. The answer is Jorge Posada.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Jorge Posada played baseball at the community college I went to.
Fantastic.
So that's been I discovered that I think 3 years after I graduated, after I left, because I transferred to UAH afterwards. I'm like, oh man, I gotta miss that.
Right.
So yeah, apparently they do have his jersey displayed at the Decatur campus, or the Tanner campus. So I thought that was pretty cool. Little side story there.
Yeah, that's very cool. I don't know that we've got very many community colleges around here that I can think of off the top of my head that have programs. We got a lot of smaller colleges, but I don't even think of a community college around here that has a program.
Yeah, Calhoun only has baseball that I'm aware of. They definitely don't have football. I would have known. Then I think maybe basketball too, but definitely no football. Even UAH didn't have football, but we had D1 hockey until that went on.
And Phil's talking about Midland Valley where he's at. I'm gonna have to. I need to look at their schedule. I might need to just try to make it out to a Midland Valley high school baseball game and catch up with Phil at one of those coming up here before the season's over with.
Well, I mean, considering he's the ambassador for them, I mean, I feel like you have to.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to call it tonight. Thank you for joining us. I cannot believe we made it to 9. We actually, I'm proud of us. Just the two of us doing it. We did it. We made it. Join us tomorrow as we talk about World Baseball Classic. A lot of NFL moves. I was going to say we're going to do the South Atlantic League next, but I don't know if we're going to have time to with all the stuff we're going to have to talk about.
Probably not.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we'll do that. There's probably a good chance we're not going to. But also, somebody needs to send me their Midwestern League rankings.
Yes, I was going to do that today before I had to go to Charlotte, and I'm like, dang it, and I hadn't even thought about it all day. So I will go up. I'll go upstairs and have it to you tonight. So by the time you wake up in the morning, you'll have it.
Because like I said, I sent a friendly reminder to them today. Tomorrow's reminder will not be as friendly. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night. We will see you guys tomorrow.